It weighs about 6 ounces. It's sleek. It's glass. It connects to the cloud. That word, the cloud, is the greatest marketing trick in human history. It implies that our modern economy is weightless, that money, data, and power now float in the ether, disconnected from the dirty physical world of the past. We are told we live in the digital age, not land, dirt. Specifically, the rare elements, metals, and minerals buried inside that dirt. For the last 50 years, the global economy ran on oil. Everyone knows that story. If you controlled the oil, you controlled the world. But that era is ending, and what replaces it isn't clean energy or invisible data. What replaces it is copper, lithium, cobalt, nickel, and sand. The terrifying truth is that building a green and digital future actually requires digging up more of the earth than the fossil fuel age ever did. We aren't dematerializing, we are rematerializing, and the math behind it suggests we are running straight into a wall. Take a standard gas-powered car. It's mostly steel and iron, simple stuff. Now look at an electric vehicle. An EV requires 6 times the mineral inputs of a conventional car. It needs huge amounts of copper for the wiring, lithium and nickel for the battery, rare earth magnets for the motor. Now multiply that by millions of cars. Then add wind turbines. A single offshore wind turbine needs tons of copper. Then add the solar panels. Then add the server farms that run AI. The International Energy Agency did the math. To hit our global climate goals by 2040, the world needs to produce 40 times more lithium than we do today. Not double, 40 times. For graphite and cobalt, it's 20 times. And unfortunately, Mother Nature didn't distribute these resources evenly. She put them in some of the most politically unstable and difficult places on the planet. This has triggered a silent race, a hidden war. While you were watching stock prices and tech keynotes, one country was playing a completely different game. While the West spent the last 20 years building apps and financial derivatives, China spent the last 20 years buying mines. They went to the Democratic Republic of Congo, where the majority of the world's cobalt comes from. Cobalt is essential for batteries to keep them from catching fire. Today, Chinese companies control the majority of cobalt mining in the DRC. They went to Indonesia, which has the world's largest nickel reserves. But here's the twist. It's not just about owning the mine. Turning raw ore into battery-grade material is dirty, toxic, and expensive. The US and Europe spent decades outsourcing this because they didn't want the pollution in their backyards. China said, "We'll take it." The result? China now refines about 60% of the world's lithium, 65% of nickel, and nearly 90% of rare earth elements. Think about that leverage. If the US wants to build an electric fleet, or a fighter jet, or a new iPhone, the supply chain almost certainly runs through a refinery in China. We are moving from being dependent on OPEC for oil to being dependent on a single competitor for everything else. We saw a preview of this recently when the US restricted semiconductor chips to China. China restricted the export of gallium and germanium. You've probably never heard of them, but you need them for radar systems, LEDs, and fiber optics. China produces 98% of the world's gallium. They simply turned off the tap. It was a warning shot. So what does the West do? What happens when demand skyrockets, but the supply is locked up? Panic, and then absurdity. This is the Clarion-Clipperton Zone in the Pacific Ocean. 3 miles down, in total darkness, the seafloor is covered in these potato-sized rocks called polymetallic nodules. They took millions of years to form. They are pure battery metal, nickel, cobalt, manganese. There is enough metal down there to electrify the entire global vehicle fleet. It sounds like a sci-fi solution. Vacuum up the rocks, save the planet. But nobody knows what happens if you strip mine the ocean floor. It could destroy ecosystems we haven't even discovered yet. It brings up the ultimate irony of the green transition. To save the atmosphere, We might have to destroy the oceans. And yet, countries like Norway are already opening up their waters for deep-sea mining. The race is on, regardless of the consequences. Sand. You might think sand is infinite. Go to the beach, it's everywhere. But you can't build with beach sand. It's too smooth. The grains are rounded by the wind and water, so they don't lock together. To make concrete for cities, or glass for screens, or silicon for chips, you need angular sand, river sand. We are consuming sand faster than the planet can replenish it. There are literally sand mafias in parts of the world stealing beaches and dredging riverbeds illegally to sell the grit for skyscrapers. It sounds ridiculous until you realize that sand is the second most consumed natural resource on Earth after water. It means the era of cheap stuff is likely over. For 30 years, we enjoyed a deflationary period. Technology got cheaper every year. TVs got bigger and cheaper. Phones got faster and cheaper. That was possible because global trade was open and raw materials were accessible. Now we are entering an age of resource nationalism. Countries are waking up. Indonesia banned the export of raw nickel ore. They said, if you want our nickel, you have to build your factory here. Chile is nationalizing its lithium industry. Zimbabwe banned the export of raw lithium. Every nation wants to hoard its wealth. When you combine hoarding with skyrocketing demand, you get inflation, structural, sticky inflation. The cost of the green transition isn't just the tax dollars spent on subsidies, it's the cost of the physical material bidding war. But you can't print cobalt, you can't code copper. The power structures of the 21st century won't be decided by who has the best algorithm. They will be decided by who controls the hole in the ground. The war for resources isn't coming, it's already here. You just can't see it because it's buried underground.